Welcome to Subject Soup. Something shocking just happened at Yellowstone. Strange seismic activity, bizarre wildlife behavior, and unexpected eruptions have scientists on high alert. Could this be a warning of something bigger? Stay tuned to find out. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we're about to unravel some mind-blowing stuff happening right now at Yellowstone National Park. I'm your host, and today, we're diving deep into a story that's got the whole world buzzing. What just happened at Yellowstone shocked the world. Buckle up, because we've got seismic rumbles, freaked out animals, and a supervolcano that's keeping scientists on their toes. So, what's going down? Let's break it into 5 jaw-dropping chapters: the latest seismic updates, weird wildlife behavior, the hardcore science of Yellowstone's supervolcano, what the experts are saying, and a time-traveling look at its explosive past. Ready? Let's go. Alright, let's kick things off with the big news. Yellowstone is rumbling, and it's got people talking. As of March 3, 2025, the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, those awesome folks who keep an eye on this beast, reported some seismic action that's making headlines. Back in January 2025, the University of Utah seismograph stations, which run the Yellowstone Seismic Network, tracked 56 earthquakes in the park. That's right, 56. The biggest one hit on January 28, a magnitude 3.7 shaker about 15 miles south-southwest of Mammoth Hot Springs. It wasn't just a little tremor either, people felt it in the area. This quake was the main event in a sequence of 25 earthquakes, including 2 foreshocks and 22 aftershocks that kept rolling into February. Now, before you panic and start stockpiling canned goods, let's put this in perspective. Yellowstone gets thousands of earthquakes every year, usually 1,500 to 2,500. In 2023, they clocked over 1,600, so 56 in a month isn't exactly apocalyptic. The observatory says this is background-level activity, meaning it's business as usual for this restless giant. No earthquake swarms were reported in January, which is a good sign because swarms can sometimes hint at bigger trouble brewing. Oh, and here's a cool tidbit: the ground in Yellowstone caldera has been sinking a tiny bit, about 1 centimeter since October 2024, according to GPS stations. That's like the Earth letting out a little sigh. But here's where it gets wild. Posts on X have been buzzing about a massive 100-foot crack splitting the ground open in late February 2025. Sounds terrifying, right? Well, hold your horses. There's no official confirmation from the U.S. Geological Survey or Yellowstone National Park about this yet. It could be exaggerated chatter or a real event we're still waiting to hear more about. Either way, it's got people asking, is Yellowstone waking up? Spoiler alert, the experts aren't losing sleep over it yet, but we'll circle back to that later. For now, the seismic situation is active but not alarming, just Yellowstone being its dramatic self. Okay, let's shift gears to something straight out of a nature thriller. The animals at Yellowstone are acting weird. You've probably heard the rumors: bison stampeding, birds freaking out, elk looking like they've seen a ghost. People love to say animals can sense disasters before we do, so what's the deal? Are they picking up on something we're missing? First off, Yellowstone is a wildlife paradise. Grizzly bears, moose, elk, beavers, bighorn sheep, and those iconic bison roam the park. With all this seismic rumbling, you'd think they'd be the first to notice if something's up. Back in 2014, a viral video showed bison supposedly fleeing Yellowstone before a magnitude 4.8 quake hit, sparking theories that they're nature's seismometers. Fast forward to 2025, and posts on X are claiming bison are acting restless again, especially after that January 3.7 quake. Some folks even tied it to that unconfirmed 100-foot crack story, saying animals are bolting from thermal areas. Here's the truth: scientists are skeptical. There's no hard evidence from 2025 that wildlife is showing unusual behavior tied to seismic activity. Yellowstone National Park hasn't reported mass migrations or panicked herds in their updates. Studies, like ones from the USGS, say animals might react to quakes as they happen, bison might stumble, birds might take flight, but predicting disasters ahead of time? That's more myth than fact. A 2021 study in EOS pointed out that while animals can sense tiny ground shifts, there's no proof they're sounding the alarm for volcanic eruptions. That said, Yellowstone's thermal basins, those steamy, bubbling hotspots, are a different story. Wildlife often avoids superhot areas unless they're adapted to it, like certain microbes or the occasional brave bear. If a hydrothermal explosion happened, like the one at Biscuit Basin in July 2024, animals might scatter, but that's a reaction, not a prediction. So, are the animals sensing doom? Probably not. They're likely just living their best lives, munching grass and ignoring the internet's conspiracy theories. Still, it's spooky to think about, right? Now, let's get to the juicy stuff, the science behind Yellowstone's supervolcano. This isn't just any volcano, it's a supervolcano, meaning it's capable of eruptions so massive they'd make your average volcano look like a sparkler. How massive? We're talking over 1,000 cubic kilometers of ash, gas, and magma, enough to bury Texas 5 feet deep. Yellowstone sits on a hotspot, a plume of molten rock rising from deep in the earth, fueling this volcanic beast. Underneath the park, there's a complex magma system that scientists have been mapping like detectives. A January 2025 study in Nature dropped some bombshells using a technique called magnetotellurics, basically X-ray vision for the Earth's crust. Turns out, Yellowstone's magma isn't one big lava pool waiting to blow. Instead, it's stored in segregated reservoirs, deep basaltic magma that flows easily but sits way down, and shallower rhyolitic magma that's thicker and harder to erupt. The study found up to 28% melt in some spots, but here's the kicker, it's not connected enough to mobilize into a big eruption anytime soon. The action's shifting northeast, near Sour Creek Dome, where hot mantle rocks are keeping the magma warm and liquid. Why? That's where future eruptions might pop off, hundreds of thousands of years from now. Meanwhile, the western reservoirs are cooling off, cut off from that deep heat. This matches seismic data from 2020 showing a sill complex, think flat, magma-filled pancakes stacked underground. Cool, right? But don't freak out, the USGS says only 5 to 20% of the magma chamber is molten. The rest is solid rock, chilling out. Yellowstone's active side shows up in its geysers and hot springs, like Old Faithful, blasting 3,700 gallons of boiling water every 91 minutes. These are powered by that hotspot heat, not a sign of an imminent eruption. The last lava flow was 70,000 years ago, and the last big hydrothermal explosion was July 23, 2024, at Biscuit Basin, dramatic, but not volcanic. So, the science says Yellowstone's cooking, but it's on a super slow simmer. Alright, time to hear from the pros. Should we be stocking up on hazmat suits and canned beans? Let's see what the experts think about Yellowstone's recent antics. Michael Poland, scientist in charge at the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, is our go-to guy. He's been tracking this volcano for years, and his take on the January 2025 quakes? Background levels. No biggie. He told Live Science that even with more molten rock than we thought, 16 to 20% versus 5 to 15%, it's still mostly solid down there. I find this result reassuring, he said. Translation, sleep easy, folks. Ninfa Bennington, a volcanologist from the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory and lead author of that Nature study, agrees. She told the Washington Post, nowhere in Yellowstone do we have regions that are capable of eruption. The magma's too scattered to team up for a super eruption in our lifetimes. She predicts any future blowout, way future, will hit the Northeast, but we're talking geological time, not next Tuesday. Jake Lowenstern, a former YVO boss, adds some chill vibes. He says volcanoes like Yellowstone give years of warning, think decades of quakes, ground swelling, and gas spikes, before a major eruption. With top-notch monitoring, seismometers, GPS, satellites, they'd spot trouble miles away. That unconfirmed 100-foot crack? If real, it'd likely be a surface feature, not a volcanic red flag. And those wildlife rumors? Experts like Jamie Farrell from the University of Utah say there's no data backing mass panic in the animal kingdom. The consensus? Yellowstone's active, sure, but not about to blow us to kingdom come. The USGS pegs the risk of a massive eruption as unlikely. Smaller stuff, like hydrothermal blasts, could happen, but they're localized. So, no need to cancel your Yellowstone vacation just yet. Let's hop in our time machine for the final chapter, Yellowstone's explosive past. This supervolcano has a rap sheet going back 2.1 million years with 3 monster eruptions. First up, 2.08 million years ago, the Huckleberry Ridge eruption blasted out over 2,500 cubic kilometers of material, ash as far as Louisiana. It left a caldera 50 miles wide. Then, 1.3 million years ago, the Mesa Falls eruption hit, smaller but still gnarly. The big one everyone talks about? The Lava Creek eruption 631,000 years ago, 1,000 cubic kilometers of chaos, forming today's Yellowstone caldera. These weren't polite coughs. Pyroclastic flows, hot, fast-moving death clouds, scorched the land. Ash blanketed North America, likely plunging it into darkness and cooling the climate for years. The caldera collapsed, swallowing forests and mountains. Since then, it's been quieter. Rhyolitic lava flows 70,000 years ago built the Pitchstone Plateau, but no super eruptions. The math says these biggies happen every 600,000 to 800,000 years, so we've got about 100,000 years left, give or take. But volcanoes don't punch clocks, they erupt when magma and pressure say go. History tells us Yellowstone can go big, but it's rare. Most activity now is hydrothermal, like that 2024 Biscuit Basin blast, or small lava flows. The past is a warning, not a schedule. It's why scientists watch so closely, to catch the next chapter early. So, what just happened at Yellowstone that shocked the world? Seismic grumbles, wildlife whispers, and new science have everyone buzzing, but it's not the end of days. The quakes are normal, the animals aren't prophets, and the supervolcano's magma is too chill to blow soon. Experts say we're safe, and history backs them up. Big eruptions are epic but eons apart. Yellowstone's wild, beautiful, and a little scary, but that's what makes it awesome. What do you think? Are you team no worries or team stockpile supplies? Drop your thoughts below. Want more science adventures? We've got plenty more where this came from. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. If you've been enjoying the content and finding it helpful or interesting, I'd love to have you join our community by subscribing to the channel. It's completely free and helps the channel grow so I can keep bringing you even more awesome content. No pressure, but your support means the world to me. Thank you for watching, I appreciate you.